This video covers how to calculate the percentage of non-overlapping data, the PND, and the percentage of data exceeding the median, also known as the PEM, using SSDforR. First, we assume that you have installed R, and you also have installed RStudio and have installed our package SSDforR. If you have not, then I'd suggest you refer to our videos on installing R and RStudio and how to get started using SSDforR. If you have already installed R 3.0, make sure it's the patch version, because there are some slight incompatibilities with the current release of R 3.0. If you need to install the patch version, you can refer to our video on installing R, which covers how to install the patch version. So let's get started. In today's video, I will just use our help files to demonstrate the PND and the PEM. So let's click on Packages, because we have to load the SSDforR package. So I'm just going to click on the checkbox next to SSDforR, and now it's loaded the package. You could also do this by typing require and between parentheses typing SSDforR. Remember the case and type it in exactly as you see it. After you've done that, let's go and take a look at our help files. Let's double click on the hyperlink here for SSDforR, which is under Packages, and we can scroll down and we can look at some of our examples. So let's take a look at the PND. So you'll notice there are two versions of it, PND above and PND below. That has to do with whether the desired outcome is an increase or a decrease. If the desired outcome is increasing the behavior, then use the PND above. If it's to decrease the behavior, then let's use below. So I'm going to click on PND below and take a look at the help file. So the help file gives you the syntax to the command. So the function command is PND below, followed by the behavior, what the phase variable is, and the two letters of the phases you want to compare. And here's an example of what all the arguments refer to. And here is an example of crying behavior, where there are three different phases: a baseline, a intervention, and a change in the intervention. So let's simply copy this by highlighting it with your mouse. And if you're using a Mac, hold down the Command key and press the C key. If you're using a Windows-based machine, hold down the Control key and tap the C key. Now click into the console, and if you're using a mouse, hold down, if you're using a Mac rather, hold down the Command key and press the V key. On the other hand, if you're using a Windows-based machine, hold down the Control key and tap the V key. Now we could see it's in the command box, the console box, and so if I hit enter, it will produce the PND on that example. Okay, so the PND here the value is 0.62. So 62 percent of the data is below the lowest value of the baseline. Now, if you look at the table here, a value of 0.62 is considered to be a debatable effect. Now, let's go back to help, and we could see that we'll go back to help but in describing this, you could see that there's lots of variation in the baseline, and we're just using one point of the data to make a decision about what's desirable. That is, we're using the lowest value in the baseline. So, given that we have lots of variation, we might want to switch to the PEM, which uses the median as a method for calculating the desired zone, which takes into account variation. So let's go back and click on Help, and then click on Index, and now let's look at PEM below, and it's essentially the same data, and it is the same data, except the command to run is just slightly different. Instead of PND, it's PEM below. So so let's highlight that again, highlight the whole thing, and if you're using a Mac, hold down the Command key, press the C key, click in the console to the left, hold down the Command key, press the V key. Now if you were using a PC, Windows-based PC, you would use the Control key. Control C to copy and Control V to copy. Now once you have copied the data and the command into the console, just hit enter, and now we have the same data, but our line is based on the median, and we have a value of 1, which would be considered to be very effective. So in this example, we use data that was in our example file under Help. You can enter data more easily by using Excel, so I strongly suggest that you take a look at our video on entering data using using Excel. Also, there are 2 good articles in the Help file that you can refer to for more information about using PND and PEM. That concludes the video for today.